Shadows of Evil is like coffee. It's an acquired taste. Coffee can be bitter and comes on strong, but the more you drink it, the more you seem to like it. The same can be said for Shadows of Evil. It's confusing at first and can be a lot, but the more you play the map, the more you'll come to enjoy it. Personally, I don't like coffee, but I love Shadows of Evil. My name is Travis, and you clicking on this video, that's what's up. Welcome back to my ZRA series. As you can probably tell, in this video we'll be looking at Shadows of Evil. And as we move forward into Black Ops 3, I want to take a deeper dive in these videos, and it's going to be more focused on story themes versus just core gameplay elements. Starting with Shadows, I want to look at the deeper elements of the character's sins and their main goal, which ends up just being a fool's errand. Just like in the title, I will also be discussing elements of Shadows of Evil being an acquired taste. But now that the exposition is done, let's get into the video, shall we? A Bitter Cup of Redemption, a Shadows of Evil retrospective. At first, people didn't know what to think of the story. I don't blame them. 4 new characters and these confusing new squid tentacle elements, the Shadow Man, and on top of that, Richtofen's involvement, which was a big mystery at the time. It really is a lot to handle and can be really confusing when being first introduced to this map. The main bitterness at first, I would say, came from the story. Just jumping in the deep end without a life jacket can be really rough. As you play more, you do realize that Shadows of Evil's story is the most integral part of the zombie storyline. Without Shadows, we don't get the summoning key to Richtofen, which cancels any other progress for the story moving forward. Introducing new characters is always a struggle, especially with a fan base like the Zombies fanbase. We typically don't take change very well, and I can see that being a turnoff for when first playing this map. It's not the familiar crews of Primus and Victus that we were used to at this point, so people would switch to something more familiar like the Giant, probably. But once again, playing more, you begin to get more familiar with each character and their involvement in the story. And for being in one map, these characters don't feel like throwaway characters. They actually have depth and unique personalities. Each character is interesting and keeps me coming back to this map to hear their one-liners and learn more about their story. Personally, I think each character's story is so interesting. It's cool how they're all brought together for their sins, and they want to try to make up for it and escape their torment, but in the end they do realize that their efforts are for nothing, as they have just ran a fool's errand and are trapped in this nightmare forever. It's cool what else you can get from this story as well. Different messages from the Bible, with each of the 4 characters being sinners, or maybe it was inspired by Dante's Inferno, with their damnation of their world becoming their own personal level of hell. There are so many deeper layers and lessons to this story that makes it top tier. But once again, to be able to get the most from it, you'll just have to play it more. The only bad thing I would say about Shadows of Evil, and it's another reason why people tend to not like this map at first, is the Easter egg needs 4 players to complete it. And I know from personal experience that it's hard enough getting 4 people on to play any game, let alone zombies. And if you're going to get 4 people on for zombies, there's a good chance half of those players are just casual people, and they're not going to want to play Shadows of Evil. I'm a diehard zombies player myself, and even I have only completed this Easter egg one time, so that puts it into perspective of why new players wouldn't want to get on to play this Easter egg. Getting more into it and learning the Easter egg, I think, gets a lot funner and less complicated. In fact, it's one of the funnest Easter eggs I've ever played. Each step is unique and keeps you engaged all the way through. It doesn't get boring for 1 second. Even failing steps can be fun to an extent, and seeing how further you can get each time. The flag step alone is probably one of my favorite steps in all of Zombies. The challenge of making sure the flag doesn't break, mixed with the excitement of completing another section, there's nothing like it. And I might be a little biased because Shadows of Evil was the first Easter egg that I've ever completed. But man, when you finally get the 4 people on and actually finish this Easter egg's last step, pure ecstasy. I'm still chasing that feeling today. And just like any other Easter egg, it took all participating players to learn as we played more to be able to get to that point. Playing more and acquiring that taste. Going from something bitter to the sweetest feeling in Zombies. On the other topic of this video, doing the Easter egg, it's cool to see in real time each character working together for a chance at redemption. Doing each ritual, starting with the very thing that got them in this mess, it's phenomenal storytelling. The fact that you're sacrificing souls that are so close to each of these characters' sins, and these souls are sinners in their own right, is just a cherry on top. It really makes you believe that everything that they're doing is worthwhile, even trapping the Shadow Man in the summoning key, only for it to be snatched away in the end by Richtofen, trapping the 4 in their nightmare purgatory forever. It's nice to see a story that doesn't have a happy ending once in a while. It really makes this Easter egg stand out to me. Once again, adding to both sides, being an acquired taste because a lot of people can't really handle anything but a happy ending. And normally to understand a sad ending, you'll have to watch that movie or in this case play that game more. It adds to the redemption because even though the 4 characters' story's ending is sad, it's like a sacrifice so the overall bigger picture can continue and the fate of everything else can be saved. Something that solidifies this map as an acquired taste is the gameplay. It's so drastically different to what we expected at the time. Similar to the reason why a lot of people don't like Mob with Afterlife, the Beast mode is exactly the same. It's different and a little bit more challenging than just turning on a switch. The easy mode and the quickest way to get what they want is typically the route that people prefer. So when playing maps like Shadows of Evil for the first time, I can see why it would be another reason why people would turn away from it at first. And I can say I was one of those people who just didn't get it. So I didn't play Shadows of Evil as much as maps like Dryzen Drac when I was a kid. It wasn't until when I got older and had a better understanding of the game was when I finally appreciated the challenge and uniqueness of the Beast mode in Shadows of Evil. Which, if you did like Mob, it's just a refined Afterlife. Once you get into the gameplay of Shadows of Evil, it can be so much fun, including the Beast mode, but everything else too. The new wonder weapon, the Apothicon, you knew it was going to be a blast as soon as you picked it up and rammed your fist up its ass. Getting the parts to the wonder weapon forces you to get a good game in, at least getting to round 12, which in turn allows you to get more accustomed to the map and realizing that this map has so much more flavor than that initial bitter taste. I could be wrong, but I do believe this is the first map to introduce a specialist with a sword. The steps to getting it are so much fun. In a day and age where you either have to have a preset specialist or just get it from the box, it's nice to actually have steps to get it. I really like how they connected the story and lore into the upgrade process as well. It adds to that redemption theme because it makes it feel like everything you're doing, even optional things like the sword, means something towards your character's story and redemption. One of my favorite parts of the gameplay is the horror. Shadows of Evil can be terrifying sometimes, from first playing even till now. Things like the boss creature, the Margwa, is still terrifying when it pops up in the map, especially during the upgrade to the swords, because multiple Margwas can spawn at once and they're just directed at you. That can be rough but exhilarating, and it feels great when you shoot the last head off the last Margwa. I love the atmosphere of the town, Morgue City. It has those horror elements that I was talking about, and also I'm a sucker for that classic Hollywood feel, the mobster 40s, 50s era, and you can't help but get lost into the world when playing the map. Shadow's world building is next level, and it shows the best in the gameplay. When talking about acquired taste, something that you'll definitely hear mentioned is jazz music. Jazz music is an essential part of the vibe and atmosphere of Shadows of Evil. They went as far as to change the perk jingles on this map to a jazz version. On any other map, I think that wouldn't work and people would definitely revolt. But I think even early on, that's one thing people agreed on about Shadows was that its music fits perfectly. I agree. There could be many reasons that you're not a fan of Shadows of Evil, and most of them I can see why and understand, but if you said that you don't like the map because of the music, I'd just ask you to leave. Even if you don't like jazz, you can appreciate the effort they put in just for this one map. They don't do that for any single map anymore. Having the whole vibe solidified by the music just shows how much they actually cared about this map. Music brings together any project. Name one good movie without music. It doesn't exist. Everything I was talking about before with each character's story and their failed redemption is all brought together by the jazz of this map. Just like everything else, the more you play the map, the more music you'll hear and find, and it just sucks you in even more somehow. Also, just like jazz, there are a bunch of little things that you'll pick up on the more you listen to, or in this case, play the map, and it just makes you appreciate it even more. One thing that I can think of in particular is that each area has a perk machine, but before you enter said area, there are these broken perk bottles that tell you which perk is there. It's just little things like that that you just have to appreciate. And obviously, I can't talk about music without the hidden song Easter eggs. Shadows of Evil has a couple, and they both speak to the uniqueness of the map. One is the classic teddy bear Easter egg, but with music boxes from that time period. And the other one, you have to go as far as to build a microphone for the Black Lace Burlesque. Each song gives you a hint into the lore and story as well, which is always a great touch. With an amazing story in itself and for the bigger picture, a great soundtrack and great gameplay with a little more, it's a shame that a lot of people didn't even give this great map a chance. I mean, there's still a lot of things that I didn't even mention, like some cool redesigns for familiar classics or upgrades like the little Arnies. There's just so much to this map that makes it amazing, and you'll just have to really get into it to understand it or enjoy it to its full capacity. I encourage everyone watching to give this map a good, solid chance and try it. You won't regret it. I think 70% of all Americans enjoy coffee in the morning? I think 70% of all zombies players can try Shadows of Evil. I mean, it's free. You don't even have to buy DLC to play it. On top of everything else, the map has everything you could want or love from any other zombies map, and personally, I think it does better than most. Shadows of Evil for some reason just has to fight for that top tier status. But that's okay. It'll just be like coffee and jazz and be that acquired taste. The other topic I chose to talk about is redemption because it seems like recently, in the past couple of years, people have been getting into Shadows more and more. So, just like the characters, it seems like the map itself is seeking redemption, but only this time, I think it's not just a fool's errand. Its story is just like coffee with how people view it. Bitter at first, but you learn to love it. It's getting that redemption that it deserves by people realizing it's not just a bitter cup that they're drinking for no reason. When you come full circle and put everything together, Shadows of Evil in every way becomes a bitter cup of redemption. once again, we've made it to the end of another video. I want to take the time to say thank you to everyone that has made it to the very end and watched all the video. Uh, it definitely helps more than you would think, more than anything, really. Um, Once again, I want to talk about like stuff that's coming up. I haven't been streaming recently because instead of playing a game that's on my PlayStation 5 that I can stream, I've been playing a game on my PlayStation 2. I've been playing the original God of War games. And I don't have a capture card, so I can't stream or anything like that. So, it might be a minute before I start streaming. I might start playing Dead Space. But yeah, some upcoming videos too. I'm going to be working on obviously the God of War videos, more Resident Evil with Resident Evil 3. Obviously finishing up, going through the Black Ops 3 maps, just different stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that. If you do like the streams, I will be streaming pretty soon. I'm probably going to be starting Dead Space within the next week or so. So look out for that. I got a few other projects that I want to work on. I don't want to talk too much about it. Try to keep you guys on your toes, keep it more of a surprise. But for now, yeah, that's it for this video. Remember to praise God and have a good one.